Hey there! Ready to dive into something truly fascinating?
I am.
Today we're tackling reincarnation.
Oh, wow.
But not just any reincarnation.
Hey.
You want to untangle how it works in Hinduism and Buddhism,
Right.
see where they line up,
Yeah.
and more importantly, what it all means for you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a journey worth taking.
Yeah.
Because these two ancient traditions
Mm-hmm.
offer wildly different takes on life, death,
Okay.
what comes next.
All right.
We're talking eternal souls versus no soul at all.
Okay, now that's a hook.
Yeah.
So let's start with Hinduism.
Fair?
I remember hearing about samsara, this endless cycle of rebirth.
Yeah.
Is that the foundation here?
You got it.
Okay.
Samsara is like the big wheel everyone's trying to hop off of in Hinduism.
Okay.
It's this continuous loop of birth, death, and rebirth, and it's all driven by karma.
Karma, that cosmic scorecard we're all racking up points on, right?
Right.
Does it work the same in Hinduism as, say, how we casually use the term?
Think of it less like a scorecard
Okay.
and more like a universal law of cause and effect.
Mm-hmm.
Every single action you take creates a ripple that shapes your future experiences.
Okay.
Not just in this life,
Yeah.
but in the lives to come.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So, if I'm understanding this correctly,
Mm-hmm.
good actions lead to a better next life.
Yes.
Like cosmic upgrades based on good deeds.
Essentially, yes.
Okay.
The goal in Hinduism is to generate good karma, to climb that karmic ladder
Okay.
towards moksha,
Mm-hmm.
which is like ultimate liberation from samsara.
Got it.
Imagine finally getting off that wild ride
Yeah.
and merging back with the source,
Right.
like a drop of water rejoining the ocean.
Okay.
That's moksha.
Wow. Okay. I see why people dedicate their lives to that.
Mm.
But here's where I get tripped up. Buddhism says there's no soul.
Right.
So how does reincarnation even work without you to carry over?
It's less about reincarnation as Hinduism sees it,
Right.
and more about rebirth in Buddhism. Imagine it this way. Instead of a solid soul,
Mm-hmm.
there's a stream of consciousness,
Yeah.
like a river, constantly changing,
Yeah.
but carrying the imprint of past actions.
Your karma.
Okay, so even without a fixed me,
Yeah.
my actions still shape what happens after this life.
Yeah.
No escaping responsibility, huh?
Precisely.
Okay,
Karma in Buddhism determines the nature of your rebirth.
got it.
It's not about punishment or reward,
Right.
but about the natural consequences of actions rippling through existence.
Okay.
You could be reborn as a human,
Mm-hmm.
or in realms of intense suffering, or even pleasure.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Kind of like we're all part of this giant interconnected web,
Yeah.
and our actions send vibrations through it,
It's
shaping not just our own experience, but
Yeah.
everyone else's too.
That's a great way to visualize it.
Okay.
And both Hinduism and Buddhism see this cycle,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's samsara or the cycle of rebirth,
Right.
as something we ultimately want to break free from. Right.
The how and why of that liberation, though, is where the paths diverge.
So it's not just about being a good person and hoping for the best in the next life.
Right.
There's a bigger goal here.
Absolutely.
Okay.
In Hinduism, moksha, that blissful union with the divine is the ultimate goal.
Okay.
Imagine a tiny spark of the divine,
Right.
your eternal soul,
Okay.
or at Buman,
Yeah.
finally merging back
Yeah.
with the source, Brahman.
Oh, okay.
It's about recognizing your inherent divinity
Mm-hmm.
and realizing oneness with everything.
Okay. That's a powerful image.
Yeah,
But if Buddhism doesn't believe in a soul,
right.
what are they striving for?
Yeah.
Is it just about escaping suffering?
It's about extinguishing suffering, yes, but it's so much more than that.
Hmm.
Think of Nirvana in Buddhism as blowing out a candle.
Okay.
It's the cessation of craving, clinging,
Right.
and the illusion of a separate self.
Got it.
No more karma means no more fuel for the fire of rebirth.
So in Hinduism, it's about union, merging back with something bigger.
Right.
While in Buddhism, it's about letting go of everything,
Right.
even the idea of me.
You've got it.
Okay.
Two very different approaches to liberation, rooted in fundamentally different understandings of what it means to exist.
You know, hearing it laid out like this, it's almost like two sides of the same coin.
Mm-hmm.
One is about merging,
Yeah.
the other about ceasing to be, but
Yeah.
both ultimately offer a way out of suffering.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this fundamental difference in worldview shapes everything,
Okay.
from the specific paths to liberation
Right.
to the way they understand the very essence of who we are.
This is where I always get a bit lost.
Uh-huh.
There are all these paths, practices, and rituals.
Right.
How do we even begin to grasp what it takes to actually achieve moksha or nirvana.
Yeah. That's the beauty of these traditions. There's no one-size-fits-all answer.
Okay.
It's about finding the path that resonates with your own unique nature.
Right.
In Hinduism, you've
Yeah.
got options like bhakti, jnana, karma, and raja yoga.
Okay.
Each one is like a different route up the same mountain, leading to that same kick of moksha.
Okay, so it's like choosing the hiking trail that best suits your fitness level and personality.
Exactly.
Got it.
You might be drawn to bhakti yoga,
Okay.
the path of devotion.
Mm-hmm.
It's about cultivating deep love and surrender to a chosen deity.
Right.
Think chanting, singing, rituals.
Yeah.
It's deeply emotional and devotional.
So kind of like falling head over heels in love, but with the divine.
Yeah.
You can see the appeal in that. What about the other paths?
If you're more intellectually inclined,
Okay.
drawn to knowledge and inquiry,
Right.
jnana yoga might be your jam.
Okay.
It's about using your mind to pierce through illusions and grasp the true nature of reality.
Mm-hmm.
Think meditation, contemplation, studying scriptures.
Yeah.
It's all about deep understanding.
Okay, so one path is about the heart, the other about the mind. What about people who are all about action?
Right.
Is there a path for them?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's where karma yoga comes in.
Mm-hmm.
The path of selfless action.
Okay.
It's not just about doing good deeds,
Right.
but about performing your duties with complete dedication
Okay.
and without attachment to the results.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine a surgeon performing a life-saving operation with total focus and zero ego.
Yeah.
That's karma yoga in action.
So it's about channeling your actions towards something bigger than yourself.
Exactly.
Okay.
And finally, you've got Raja Yoga,
Mm-hmm.
the path of meditation and mental discipline.
Right.
It's about taming the mind,
Yeah.
stilling the constant chatter, and
Mhm.
attaining higher states of consciousness.
Got it.
Think serious meditation practices, breath control. It's like
Okay.
an intense mental workout.
Wow, that's quite a range.
Yeah,
Hinduism really does offer a path for everyone, huh?
it does.
But what about Buddhism? They have that eightfold path, right?
Yeah.
Is that their one-size-fits-all approach to reaching nirvana?
It's less about a one-size-fits-all and more like a comprehensive toolkit for living.
Okay.
It's not about blindly following rules,
Right.
but about cultivating wisdom and ethical conduct in every aspect of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine it as a set of guidelines for purifying your mind, speech, and actions,
Yeah.
leading you toward liberation.
So instead of focusing on an external deity, it's about internal transformation.
Exactly.
Got it.
It all starts with right understanding,
Okay.
seeing the world through the lens of Buddha's teachings,
Mm-hmm.
things like impermanence and the interconnectedness of everything.
Right.
From there, it's about right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood.
Yeah. It sounds pretty all-encompassing. Can you give me an example of how this would actually play out in someone's life?
Sure. Let's take right speech.
Yeah.
Imagine you're in an argument
Mm.
and you're about to unleash a verbal grenade.
Okay.
The eightfold path encourages you to pause.
You know, to consider the impact of your words
Right.
and to choose kindness and truthfulness instead of adding fuel to the fire.
So it's about making conscious choices aligned with your values.
Exactly.
Got it.
And that extends to everything from what you do for a living, right livelihood,
Right.
to how you engage in your meditation practice right after.
Yeah.
It's about bringing that awareness and intention to every aspect of your existence.
It's interesting, even though the end goals are completely different,
Right.
both traditions seem to emphasize compassion and ethical living as a crucial part of the journey.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Whether you're talking about karma in Hinduism or the Eightfold Path in Buddhism, there's this shared understanding that our actions have consequences.
Yeah.
Not just for ourselves,
Right.
but for everyone and everything around us.
Mhm.
It's about recognizing that interconnectedness and acting accordingly. You know, thinking about it that way, it's almost like both traditions are saying, hey, you're part of something much bigger than yourself, so act like it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And one of the most powerful ways these traditions convey that message
Okay.
is through storytelling.
Oh, yeah, like the Bhagavad Gita in Hinduism and the Jataka tales in Buddhism.
Exactly.
What's fascinating is how they use stories to explain these incredibly complex concepts in a way that feels accessible and dare I say, entertaining.
Absolutely.
Okay.
These stories aren't just abstract philosophies.
Right.
They're about real people grappling with real challenges,
Yeah.
making choices, and facing the consequences.
And in doing so, they illuminate these profound truths in a way that sticks with you long after you finish listening.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite story that really brings these concepts to life?
There's a Jataka tale about the Buddha's previous life as a selfless monkey king who sacrificed his own life to save his troop from a hunter. It perfectly illustrates the Buddhist ideal of compassion and selflessness,
Right.
showing how even in the face of danger,
Yeah.
the impulse to protect others can lead to a positive karmic outcome.
It's a powerful reminder that even small acts of kindness can have a ripple effect,
Absolutely.
shaping not only our own journey, but the journey of others as well.
Yeah.
That makes me think about the concept of anatta in Buddhism.
Oh, yeah.
It's such a mind-bending idea that there's no permanent self,
Right.
no fixed me
Right.
that travels through lifetimes.
Yeah.
How do we even begin to wrap our heads around that?
It challenges our everyday experience, doesn't it?
It really does.
We feel like solid individual selves.
Right.
But Buddhism suggests that this sense of self
Mm-hmm.
is more like a temporary construction, a collection of constantly changing parts, rather than a fixed entity.
So instead of a solid soul,
Mm.
it's more like a flowing river of experiences, thoughts, and sensations.
That's a great analogy.
Okay.
And just like a river,
Yeah.
our sense of self is constantly changing,
Mm.
never staying the same from one moment to the next.
Right.
But even without a permanent self,
Mm-hmm.
Buddhism emphasizes that our actions still matter.
Okay.
We're not off the hook just because there's no fixed me calling the shots.
So even though there's no permanent me,
Right.
my choices still have an impact. Not just on this life, but on future rebirths.
Precisely.
Wow.
It's like each action casts a vote,
Mm-hmm.
shaping the conditions for future experiences.
Okay.
And this understanding can be incredibly liberating.
Right.
If the self is constantly changing,
Yeah.
then we have the power to shape those changes through our choices.
Okay.
We're not stuck with a fixed personality or destiny.
It makes you realize that even if there's no solid me carrying over,
Yeah.
there's still this thread of continuity created by my actions. This ripple effect that extends beyond the boundaries of this single life.
It's a powerful perspective, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it highlights the importance of taking responsibility for our actions,
Right. Yeah.
even the seemingly small ones.
Mm-hmm.
Everything we do contributes to the tapestry of existence.
You know, as we've been diving into these concepts, I've been thinking about how both Hinduism and Buddhism offer this incredible lens for understanding life's big questions.
Absolutely.
It's not just about what happens after we die.
Right.
It's about how we live right now.
It's about recognizing that every moment is an opportunity for growth, for learning,
Yeah.
for moving closer to that ultimate liberation,
Right.
whether it's moksha or nirvana.
And it makes you realize that the journey itself is just as important as the destination.
Exactly.
It's about cultivating compassion, acting ethically, and making choices that contribute to a more positive and harmonious world.
And perhaps that's the most important takeaway for you from all of this. Regardless of whether you subscribe to the idea of an eternal soul or a constantly changing stream of consciousness,
Right.
both Hinduism and Buddhism invite you to live with awareness, intention, and a deep sense of interconnectedness.
It's a powerful message that transcends religious boundaries,
Yeah.
offering guidance and inspiration for anyone seeking a more meaningful and fulfilling existence.
It's a reminder that we are all part of something much greater than ourselves, and that our choices have the power to shape not only our own destiny, but the destiny of the world around us.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into reincarnation,
Yeah.
the question I'm left with is this. If life is indeed a journey of growth and transformation, what kind of traveler will you choose to be?